Computerized Start is brought to you by my awesome patrons on Patreon, and by your tips and memberships on Ko-fi. These and other channel supporters make my live streams possible. You too can become a channel supporter with tiers starting at just $1. And as always, thank you for all your support, including sharing, chatting, liking, and subscribing. Now roll that famous logo animation! Good evening, and welcome to the stream. I think I need to extend my intro just a wee bit more. I'm your host, Justin D. Morgan, and you are watching Computerized Start Live. And I'm hoping my GoTech is downstairs, because I ran upstairs thinking it was there, and it's not. So anyways, I would like to welcome 1-Bit Fever Dreams, Jeremy's Vintage Hillbilly Shack, Garth Beagle, Dave's Vintage Apple Tech, Retro Tech Chris, and Trina and Frank S. for also being in the chat at some point. So I have run my errands I needed to do on the way home from work. I have taken the trash out so that I don't wake the dog at midnight. Or sometime around midnight. I did update my animation. It is, how cold is it in the basement? It is about 58 degrees Fahrenheit in the basement. Hello, Ian. Welcome. So, and I've got a heater running, and it's actually I had to go to Lowe's. So, you all, I think my last stream or so, chipped in to Ko-fi to help me get a little heater. So, I have a little heater, and actually it's warm enough in the basement, at least where I was just running around. I might actually have to turn it off. But yeah, Lowe's was not as helpful as, wait a minute, I don't know when that Lowe's has been helpful recently. So, I was asking where I wanted a specific model I'd found on their website, and I was asking the guy where the location was that it said they were, and that was cleaning supplies, and I turn around and look at the items they had in the middle of the aisle, and I start to ask, well, is it in the middle of the aisle? He's like, no, let me look it up, and so he points me to where all the other heaters are. It's like, well, it should be here, but it's not. I'm like, is there anywhere else where they are? And he's like, nope, this is them all. Well, turns out I found this one, which wasn't so high wattage that I couldn't run it, and then start to walk to the checkout, and guess what I saw? The one I had initially gone in to buy. It was in that center, the stuff in the center of the aisle. Right several feet from where he was stocking cleaning products. Yes, Lowe's, your customer service is reaching new lows these days. I guess that pun was coming. That's all I'm going to say on that. So, anyways, I still bought that one because then I looked at the package of the one I'd picked out and realized it probably wasn't what I wanted, so anyways, I have a little oscillating, I think it's an infrared heater, so, you know, and I feel warm, so I guess as the basement gets colder, it will blow hot air. Well, I don't know if it's got a fan in it. I think it's radiating hot air. So, it'll at least keep me a little bit warmer. And I still may get one of the, like, really, really small heaters to put on the bottom of my bench to kind of blow some hot air towards my legs so my feet don't get really cold. But at least I got one that's behind me, and I can set it to 700 watts, which is about what I wanted to set one at, unless it gets really cold. So, didn't want to risk tripping any breakers. So, therefore, let's see here. Also, I guess I have a few items. First of all, the video I'm doing on the Emerson Elite 3 SX386. It is coming. It'll be this month, hopefully. I started to do the video for December. I was writing the script. I had so much information, I realized it was 2 videos and not 1. So I am currently trying to break it apart, and the 1 video is still, I feel, too long, but it might be unavoidably too long at this point, because I realized, wait a minute, everything I'm saying is on the project. I just have a lot of information on doing the project. All right, Comcast, I better not see that red box in OBS again. So, stay tuned for that in January. I guess I'm calling it the December Loose Ends month. Someone suggested on Mastodon to call it Lanuary, but, well, I wasn't really planning on connecting it to the LAN in that video, so I don't know that that works. But anyways, I hopefully will have that out later this month, as well as some of the other, I guess, December bits. Or I'll sprinkle them in throughout the coming months. I always have these bold plans and then reality sets in, so I am, after all, a production of 1. There's just me, so if I joke about having a secretary, well, I'm my own secretary. Anyways, let's see here. I do have a few items that I have purchased. Well, that's the Pentium 2 board we will be taking a look at in a few minutes. But I did recently get a few pieces that I might be using in some upcoming projects or bought just in case. Starting with I got a couple of items off eBay from a seller that's actually just up in Falls Church. And they occasionally have some things listed that I think are actually pretty good deals. So the first item, I don't know if this will work with DOS, but I got a Sound Blaster Live card. It was $12.95. I thought that was a pretty good deal for a Sound Blaster Live that seemed to be in reasonably good shape. So, I don't know. Maybe part of that was the convenience of it. It only had to come from Northern Virginia. Although the Postal Service still took their sweet time in delivering it. I guess now that December's over, they have slowed their delivery times down. Actually, Brian, yeah, official documentation for programming the Sound Blaster 16. That actually could be useful. That might be cool. So, yeah. Alright, another item I bought, which is something for a project I want to do. I got me an 8-bit parallel card. Yeah, it's just an 8-bit parallel card, but I think it'll support EPP and ECP modes. And I think I found the jumper settings for it, so I'm pretty sure I can get it working. But yeah, just a parallel port card. It was also in decent shape. So it was $10. This card came from the Sound Blaster card, I bet, came from a Dell, yeah. I don't know that this one came from a Dell. This one was probably just a generic card. I want to say it's like a Kuwell or something like that. But anyways, I think I found the jumper settings for it. It seems to be like a fairly common generic parallel port card. But I got something I want to try with a 8-bit computer. Sound Blaster Live won't work with DOS. Yeah, I didn't think it would. But it will. Okay, yeah, thanks, Brian. Well, Sound Blaster Live, though, would let me check out some, I guess, some of the earlier Windows games, at least. And then I picked this up from, yeah, this was the same place. It was also $10. I would like to maybe see if I can find another 16550 chip to replace the 82C450, because I believe they're pin compatible, but the 16550 has a larger buffer. But this is actually for the... Actually, I bought this for the 386, so I have some serial ports for a mouse. Because when I do build the 386, I don't need parallel port, or well, I don't necessarily need parallel port, but I knew I'd probably want a couple serial ports, so this might actually still work, because one of the ports is for mouse, and the 82C450 may be totally fine for the mouse. It's just, I think the 82C450 chip is going to the 25-pin serial port. I'm having trouble. They're not exactly labeled, so I'm not sure which one is going to which right offhand, but it does look like the traces from this lower chip are going to the 25-pin serial port. So yeah, I'd have to use a serial adapter. Anyways, yeah, I'm up to 198 subs. So, anyways, oh, and then one other interesting thing. So those were, that was $33 I spent on 3 add-in cards that'll come in handy. And then I, not to, also because I, found this one after I bought that first serial port card. 16550. Got 2 serial ports. So, yay, high-speed serial ports. And yeah, I definitely could find the jumpers for this, because I think they're actually silkscreened on the card. I got paid about $10 for this one as well, so just kind of picked up a couple of controller cards that were cheap and good shape. ESS PCI card. The ESS Maestro 1. You know, I don't really have fond memories of the ESS sound card. I always thought they sounded fake. Although then again, I guess there is something to say about the fake sound of the ESS card. Yeah. Yes. Yes. If you're not already subscribed, do please click that subscribe button. Every subscriber helps. All right. So now I think it's about time to try to get to this Pentium 2. I think well, I don't know where the GoTech went to. I may not need it. I think I've got everything else I need. The GoTech is probably upstairs. I just probably set it in a creative spot. Oh, and there was one other thing I picked up, but this is actually for this computer, hopefully. Well, Jeremy, you would think that I would be trying to use the ISA slots, but that's not the purpose of this video. Yes, I could cheat, and I could put the sound in the slot, and it would definitely just work, but that's not the point of this. I actually, interestingly enough, I did try to find an ISA-less motherboard that had this header. But it just so happens that the first one I found that was at a reasonable price was one that had ISA slots. So I was like, I did want one that would force me to have to use this mode here, but I could not find one at a reasonable price. Because in order to find a motherboard that had this header, I tried searching the internet for the feature, and that really wasn't helping me identify potential models. So I was actually, to find this motherboard, I just basically went to the motherboard section of eBay, filtered it out to like the Pentiums and the Pentium 2s and the Pentium 3s, started figuring out which brands would never have it so I could try to filter those out, which I think from what I can tell, the the system integrators, the big ones, never added the Sound Blaster link to their motherboards, so least I was able to ignore like Dell and Gateway and compact motherboards. But still, I would go to a motherboard if it looked like one I hadn't looked at yet. And yes, this is a very error-prone process. At first, I was like looking, even if it was like an overpriced board, and I'd go and I'd look at the auction picture and I'd be looking for, basically, I had to look at the picture and hope it was a good enough picture to see a header that looked like that. Not necessarily be able to read the text, but at least I'm looking for a 6-pin header with that pin missing on the motherboard to see if it's even a candidate. And a lot of times I'd look at the board and luckily some of them I could just very clearly see, well, there's no 6-pin header, so it's out. But as you can see on some of these boards, especially if the seller pulled the jumpers there, or even for the front panel headers were easy to ignore. But so I'm looking at a picture of a board, zooming in as best as the seller took pictures of. Some eBay sellers don't take very good photos. I mean, luckily the IR was easy because that's got too many pins and that's pretty clear to see. This motherboard doesn't have any that are like tricky. But yeah, I was actually basically looking at all the auction listings, looking at the photos, trying to find the best photo, at least knowing that this usually was around the ISA and PCI slots. Look to see if this header's on the board. A lot of them, it's not, so I got to go to the next listing. And then if it was on the board, well, then I looked at what the seller wanted and if they accepted best offers. So that excluded a lot of boards, but at least I was able to make a mental note of what models had it. And eventually it came down to, I think I found this auction. They at least had it reasonably priced. I could see in the picture it had this port, and they had best offer on, and I was able to make an offer on it that they accepted. But I did try to find a board that didn't have ISA slots that had this, and I don't know if I was actually successful, because I think they all seem to have ISA slots and this, which could be one of those interesting ironies. Because maybe if they didn't have ISA slots, they didn't have a South Bridge that actually had a ISA bus on it. But anyways, yeah. So I wanted to try this. It requires a PCI sound card. But yes, that's the cruel irony that I could just go upstairs, pull the Sound Blaster Vibra 16 from my Emerson computer, jam it in here, done, works in DOS. But yet, I want to try this SB Link feature to see if it really did live up to it. But maybe I've just explained why it flopped because, well, hello, there's ISA slots. Have any SGI floptical drives laying around and taking up space? I have nothing SGI. Nothing SGI. Not even a t-shirt. So, and that's not for lack of trying. It's just no one's scrapped an SGI in a place where I've come across it yet. So anyways, that's kind of the story of this board. And now I got to try to find the... But anyways, so we've got the FIC VB601 Pentium 2 motherboard. The 400 megahertz Pentium 2 that I tested in a December stream. 1 gigabyte of RAM, which I think I'm going to have to pull some of this out, at least at first. Because I don't think Windows 98 is going to like this much RAM right offhand. For video cards, I was going to be content and use an ISA video card. But I ran across this video card that was... I may have paid a bit more than I should have on it, but it is it's a Zotac branded NVIDIA 6200. The drivers for this card are actually supported in Windows 98. So therefore, I can use this card in Windows 98, and more importantly, at least according to the keys in the AGP slot, it is a dual voltage card. So it will work in 3.3 volt or 1.8 volt slots. Now, I kind of thought that maybe this chip was new enough that it's really technically a 1.8 volt chip, but well, maybe it's actually technically overclocking it at 3.3 volts, but well, Zotac put both keys on it, so I'm going to go by the keys that are present. So, yes, that's a good side note, Jeremy. For anyone that's looking for 41256 or 4256 RAM chips, Jamco doesn't stock MT branded chips. Yes. Also, I had to order RAM from UT Source because Jamco didn't carry the RAM I needed, but that's another side note. Yes, I may have ordered parts for other projects. Now, the reason why I'm pulling the bracket off this is so I can plug this video card in. The nice thing about this video card is it doesn't require any extra power. It also, I guess the other reason why I liked it is it has DVI. So I can pull my DVI cable out and plug it in and get better video capture. Yeah, I think there. So yeah, I think Jeremy's trying to point out that my just because a card has both voltage keys on it doesn't mean that the chipset officially supports both voltages, but it also doesn't mean that it does not support both voltages. But there are some video cards out there where the manufacturer, for whatever reason, put both keys on the card, but the card does not support 3.3 volts. So it is quite possible that I will fry this video card when I power it up. And you all always want to see smoke. I haven't looked up whether this card really is a dual voltage card. I just looked up to see if it supported Windows 98 and then was done with it. So if it smokes, then you can then I think I have a coffee goal, and you can donate a coffee in solidarity for my video card that I end up damaging on stream, because you all always want to see smoke. Of course, if it works, you can donate a coffee too, because I'll need caffeine in the morning. Either way, that's my plug for the coffee for the moment. Let me see if I've missed something in the chat. DOS drivers. 1-Bit Fever Dream says there's an Ars Technica post to people saying there were DOS drivers for Sound Blaster Live on the Liveware CD provided. I'll have to go dig that up. Yeah, well, Jeremy, I think technically the key is voltage level. Although, yes, you are correct. If it has only the front key, it's going to be a 2x AGP card. Because by the time 4x AGP came around, it was, yeah, usually those were dual voltage. But it could be a 2x AGP. It could be an 8x AGP, I think. But yeah, usually it's 4x AGP if it has dual keys. And then the rear key is always 8x AGP. Yeah, I believe that is correct. That by that point, they would only be a single voltage, because the 8x AGP chips, I think, really only supported 1.8 volt. Yeah, but I think the key technically is the voltage the card works at. But yes, you can surmise what AGP level it is with a usual certainty when you get to guessing 4x because of dual key. I would agree. Usually it's 4x. If it has both keys, you will be right enough of the time that it's a good guess. It would at least be an educated guess, and I always appreciate educated guesses. So yes, if I had thought about that logic, I would have probably Probably would have realized that, but I thought Pentium 2 though was Pentium 2 is going to be 2x AGP. So hey Joe, welcome. Joe forgot all that AGP stuff years ago. Well, I guess one reason why I wear this cap is to hold in the useless information. Because if I take this hat off, then I'm just going to start spouting useless trivia that no one needs to know. But I guess if we do get to a scenario where someone realizes that they're in the real life version of 24 and the bad guys planted a bomb somewhere that the diffusal key is random trivia questions, then I'll take my hat off and try to help out. But that would be the plot of a sci-fi nightmare, probably. Moving along. Yes, Jeremy, that also is a very good point. When you've assembled more than 500 computers, you kind of get that stuck in your memory. Yes, I have assembled quite a number of computers. I don't know how many I assembled back in high school when I worked at the computer shop, because I would say it was, I mean, while I was in school, so I was only working after school part-time, so I'd been there from like, what, 3 to 5? Something like that. I mean, it was probably maybe one computer on average, because there were some days where it was repairs and not building computers. But I built a lot of computers then too. Oh, during the summer when I was working full-time as my summer job in high school, yeah, I probably put together a lot of computers, and I repaired a lot too. Let me tell you. In fact, there's one computer that really scared me that I repaired, but I think I got it working. I mean, maybe I didn't get it working. I don't remember. Anyways, so yes, now that I have hopefully not tempted the next evil mastermind to come up with a truly insidious weapon of mass destruction. Let's go ahead and put some components on this board. So I have this 60 gig hard drive that is did come out of an Apple computer. I think this came out of my iMac G4. I'm using this because it's at least should be UDMA. I mean, it should work at ATA 133, so it won't at least be too slow. I think I do need to check a jumper, because I believe this motherboard doesn't need... Actually, no. I want to leave the cylinder limit in place. Also, I have... Oh, hey, Jubsy, welcome. Yes, also, I've got... I think I got Windows installed on that, so that'll be very handy for this, because I should just be able to run the upgrade and it'll find Windows on that hard drive. It's a broken install of Windows, but this should find the install of Windows and upgrade it. So we'll give that a try. And got this. Well, I think that's actually a CD. I thought I had a DVD with Windows 98. But this will still come in handy, Chris. But RetroTech Chris sent me a DVD-ROM drive when I thought I would be installing Windows from a DVD drive. So I guess the one nice thing is, though, this will at least make the installation a little less painful, because this should be a fairly speedy drive for reading a CD. But yes, RetroTech Chris sent this along. It'll plug right into the IDE bus, and unlike my adventures with this drive in the 386, which you'll hopefully be hearing about sooner rather than later, I think I'll have a much easier time of getting this working on a Pentium 2. Although, if anyone, for the record, I don't think the 386 was necessarily the sole reason I was having trouble. I think I did ultimately determine I may have had a compatibility issue that I would have not foreseen. I don't know what is incompatible. I am thinking that since the video's late, I may try to do a little more work on that to see if I can determine exactly what was incompatible. But I ran into a compatibility issue, which is part of the reason why I was late with the video in the first place. I had trouble getting it to work. And I had to wait for parts. And then, well, I learned the script was too long. Multitude of errors. All right, so got hard drive, got a DVD-ROM drive that should be fast. There is the important piece of this. And this is an item that I think I actually worked on Dave's. I did the work on Dave's stream. I'm getting tongue-tied tonight. All right. I do know the card is sitting beside me, but it kind of got shuffled underneath a few things. I do have the drivers for it, which is good. Oh, I think those are some memory modules that I should have put away that I didn't. All right, hold on. All right, I'm being mean to myself because apparently one of the two sound cards I hid. All right, so I bought these on eBay a couple years ago based on a Vogon's forum post. So these are the A-Open Cobra sound card, AW744L2, 4-channel PCI audio. So this has a Yamaha. See if it says on here anywhere. No, it does not. Oh, there it is. It's on the side. So it has a Yamaha YMF744 PCI audio accelerator chipset. Cobra high quality audio support. Meet PC 2001. Oh, that's going to be hard to read. Let me see if I can get my camera to focus on it. Probably not. There we go. Dolby AC3 DVD surround sound support. Professional DSP audio effects. Blah, 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 blah. Supports 4-speaker, which I think will work in Windows 95 and later. Blah, 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 blah. Sound Blaster Pro and Windows Sound System compatible. All right. So anyways, I actually was kind of looking for the one I didn't stick back in the box. Because I found its box. I put it in a creative spot. That's lovely. All right, well. Oh, actually, there it is. I bought two because, well, just in case I damaged one doing the mod. But anyways, the reason why I bought the sound card is because I ran across this Vogon's forum post that was talking about the sound card. It had the, let me see if I can zoom in. It had the header not populated, and there's 2 resistors you have to add to populate it. But it had the PC-PCI header not populated, but if you add it to this card, then it'll support the SB Link or PC-PCI. Some manufacturers call it one thing, some call it the other, but it's the exact same thing. So anyways, on Dave's stream, I added the header to this card. It should just work with the SB Link. So we're going to give it a try. But anyways, to do that, I need to connect the two together. And since I do not have the official cable, which I suspect would have come with a card that had that port populated, I am instead going to just use some of the jumper wires that you'd use on various electronics projects. If I can, of course, find where they went to. Otherwise, I'll do something else. All right. Well, actually, you know, I guess the one thing I could do is just see if this even powers up in the first place. So, all right. Well, I will just put this in this PCI card for no reason at all. Stream 2 hours of CGI Alley Cat. Yeah, that's funny. All right. All right. And last, I need the adapter doodle that is somewhere on my workbench so I can plug this motherboard in. Somewhere I have the adapter doodle that has been hardwired so that when you plug the power supply in, it turns on. Oh, there it is. Oh, hi, Francois. Welcome. There we go. So, this... oh, wait a minute. This is an ATX motherboard. Never mind. Oh, wait. But this power supply actually is the better one to use. Even though it doesn't have a power switch, the cord will actually fit. So, this is a power supply I bought from Trina. And it should just plug right into this motherboard. I can figure out which way it goes in. It should go in right that way. There we go. And might have trouble plugging in the drives, but I'll give it... Oh, here we go. These are long. I've got some newer power supplies, but they've got the 24-pin connector, and because of this component here, one of the two of them, I can't use the power supply because it doesn't have a separable connector. And, oh no. My cables may not be long enough. Let me see here. Oh, here we go. This will probably work. I'll make them work. There we go. All right. So, there we go. Let me change my scaler to the DVI1 input, which should be correct. And let's see if will it blow up? Yeah, Francois, will it blow up spectacularly or just work? 3, 2, 1. Well, it did not blow up spectacularly. Oh, it would also help, though, that if I... Okay, so I turned the power supply on, and nothing blew up. But I've got to turn it on. So if you'll hold on one moment while I look at the legends on the motherboard, just try to figure out which one is the power switch. Is it these two? No. These two? No. That's marked SP, SW, SP LED, TB LED, IDE LED, speaker. Oh, power switch. Oh, actually, one moment. Before I do that, I just realized. Yeah, I forgot. ATX. This is ATX. I had AT on the brain because the last motherboards I've been looking at were AT. Also, let me go and plug in a speaker So that at least if we get beep codes while it blows up spectacularly, we'll get beep codes. All right. I believe this is the power switch. So 3, 2, 1. There we go. Hey, there we go. Well, it didn't blow up spectacularly. Yeah, I didn't realize the. Oh, actually, let me see here. Is this a? Oh, that's a reset switch, I think. Yeah, that's reset. Okay, I was about to possibly give my postcard a try on the PCI bus. Yeah, as Adrian Black would say, it freaking works. I mean, I knew the motherboard worked. I also maybe should have pulled the RAM just because it takes forever to count the memory. Also, it just dawned on me, I forgot to plug the keyboard in, but why should I be afraid of that? It is a USB keyboard after all. Oh, skip the memory test. Delete to enter setup. There we go. Yeah, why not, Jeremy? 1 gigabyte of RAM. I don't remember what I pulled it out of, but I think I pulled it out of one of the Macs I bought. It had a gigabyte of RAM in it that was actually parity RAM. Even though it was a model of G4 that couldn't use parity RAM, I think it had parity RAM in it. Although it is possible I picked it up somewhere else and just forgot about it. Alright. I'm not going to bother to set the date. There we go. That's good. Set the CD-ROM as boot. And let's see here. All right. I do not remember if the Windows 98 CD is bootable. Yeah, I know Windows 98 had a ceiling of 512 megs. I forgot to pull the RAM out. Actually, you can. I think there is a setting you can set to change that. No, I don't want the A drive before C drive. I'm going to try to boot off the CD. Because I don't have the Windows 98 boot floppy. Suggested cast latency time is 2. You know, did I forget to replace this battery? Yeah, I may have. Floppy disks fail. Yeah, I guess yeah, I didn't plug in a floppy drive. Let me see if it'll boot off the CD-ROM. Because I may have to go get the GoTech and download the Windows 98 setup floppy. Because I don't... Oh, there we go. Oh, nope. Okay. Yeah, the CD's not bootable. I thought it might be... I do know Windows 95 CDs were not bootable. I thought Windows 98 ones might be, but it might only be the... It might only be the, maybe the full versions. Because I think the upgrades, maybe they expected that you had the ability to boot. So let me see if by chance this one works. Actually, first let me because we all know that the well, Windows 98 is definitely not going to be happy with a gigabyte of RAM or 768. And in fact, I think it's kind of iffy whether it'll even be happy with 512 because it depends on how much memory's on your video card. And this is a 512 megabyte video card. So I'm actually going to go with 128 or 256, just one DIMM. So that should be enough to install Windows 98. I'll install the patch that lets me put more RAM in it later. Who knows, I might dual boot this with an older version of Linux. Yeah, with my upgrade CD, it's perfect, but the upgrade CD won't boot. I don't have CD-ROM drivers on the C drive. But however, if I can get the Windows 98 full version disk to boot, then I think I can actually fix the no drivers issue. Yeah, it should like 256 meg. I mean, I could go grab things to be able to copy a CD-ROM driver on this, but I only have the CD-ROM driver on my 386, and I'm not, well, Windows 98 won't install on a 386, so that, there's no even trying that. I won't be installing Windows 95 on it. That's for sure. It's too slow. There we go. Boot from... Oh, no. Oh, wah, wah. Haha. Windows 98 doesn't like the USB keyboard. Yes, it will. Oh, no min switch. Okay. So, problem. This is a problem I had not anticipated. Oh. Hold on. Okay. Let me see here. I think I have... I'm trying to look at this. Okay, so I've got an old CR2032 in this motherboard. That's problem number one. So every time I change CMOS settings, they're not sticking. Problem number two, I forgot to set the setting that lets it, I think, emulate compatibility with the keyboard on the USB. Because I don't have a PS2 keyboard. Unfortunately. I'm trying to think if that statement was wrong. I have a PS2 mouse, but no PS2 keyboard. Oh, well, Joe, the good thing is I have a 387 installed. So that would be fine. I have 8 megabytes of RAM on that 386 SX16 installed. So that would be fine. But that would, be so slow running Windows 95 on a 386 SX 16 megahertz. That would mega hurt. And on that note, I'm going to go... I'm looking to see if I have a CR2032 that's in something that I can just swipe without having to go upstairs. So that at least this computer saves the settings I change. So that every time I have to power it down, I don't lose the settings. But it would seem that I have used my last CR2032, so I guess I'm going to have to go upstairs and swipe one. So I will be almost right back. But Joe is putting challenges in the chat. He's like, haha, mine's 33 megahertz. So I'm now feel obliged to... Well, I felt obliged to grab something, but then I realized I started to clean up down here because I'm silly. Oh, good. Fast install. Joe is putting keys for fast install. You know, Joe knows. Okay, well, I guess I'm going to go upstairs, grab a CR32, grab the PS2 mouse because I'm probably going to need it. Don't have a PS2 keyboard. At least I got a PS2 mouse. And I'll grab the board I was looking for to meet Joe's challenge of his 386's 33 megahertz. I'll be right back. So stick around. Welcome back to Justin D. Morgan's Computer Silliness, where I have pulled out my 386DX40 motherboard. So it's 7 megahertz more fast, but I also don't have a 487DX, so, well, I can't beat you there, Joe. All right, that concludes the segment of Computer Silliness. But at least when I get Varda replacements for all my computers, I have CR2032 batteries for days now, so. Hey, everything is broken, Garage. Ryan, how's it going? All right. I bought batteries using my subscribe and save, and, well, the box of 24 CR2032s was a really good price. I realize that's an awful lot of batteries, but, well, I've got plenty of batteries for various projects. Plus, I ordered some PCBs from, well, a place that makes PCBs. And some of them were some boards that are for various Varda replacements for motherboards, so I'll need some CR2032s. So I thought it'd be good to just buy a bunch. There we go. Now I know that's a new CR2032 battery because this one here is flat. And yeah, I'm doing good, Ryan. It's almost Friday. Haven't blown anything up yet that I'm aware of. All right, so how flat is this CMOS battery? Because can a geek YouTuber actually replace a battery in something like this when they have a voltmeter without measuring it? And it is. Woohoo! Rapidly draining away. You are watching this battery's last few millivolts just drain away from the load of this multimeter. All right, Joe, I will let you know when I am ready for it. Because I want to see this memory of your product key, which I think you've blurted out on streams before, so I'm fairly sure you still remember it. All right. Now, hopefully with this good CMOS battery, it will stop resetting my CMOS settings, and I will actually be able to configure this thing appropriately to boot and use the USB keyboard in DOS mode. And the clue that the CMOS battery was dead before I replaced it was the fact it kept suggesting a better CAS setting. Woohoo! Year 2000 compliant. Time, it is, let's see here. It is approximately 21. 28. Probably about 30. There we go. That'll work. Auto. I guess let me just turn this off because I don't have a GoTech connected, so it'll stop that error. Video, halt on. I guess probably should halt on all errors while I'm troubleshooting things. Virus warning, disabled, detect boot virus by trend. Enable, I guess we can enable that. CPU internal cache enabled, external cache enabled. Quick power on self-test, definitely enabled. Boot from LAN first, I think is disabled. I do want this to boot from the CD-ROM first. Let's see here, nope. Security options, the PS2 mouse control function enabled. Okay, I think that's all good. Chipset features. This is CAS2 RAM, so I can turn that on. It is ECC RAM, so I'm going to turn that on. Let's see, cacheable. Guess I'll set the AGP aperture size. I'll leave that at the default because I'm using Windows 98. Let's see. I think the keyboard, plug and play OS installed. I think I want to set that to yes because I'm installing Windows 98. Auto. Let's see here. Guess I can enable that because integrated peripherals. Yeah, it'll reset it and then that'll turn off automatically. One chip. Oh, there we go. There's the problem. So those are all enabled. Auto. Turn on that. USB controller enabled. BIOS support USB keyboard. There we go. DOS. Let's see here. UART mode select. Nope. I want normal. And of course I want I just want EPP so I don't waste in case I do something crazy like get a printer. So, Joe is asking a cool tech question. So, Joe is asking, what capture device are you using to grab the screen right now? So, I am using a DataVision. No, that's wrong. DataPath Vision RGB E1S. And that is connected to an Atlona scaler. It's actually the next model up from the scaler that Steve had in his video. I can't see the model number because it's underneath stuff. But he showed one that had a bunch of ports on it. And I have the next model up, which I think basically means it has like 2 HDMI outs instead of 1 or something silly like that. I don't know. It's in reality not a like earth-shattering, not an earth-shattering difference, I don't think. Oh, there we go. USB keyboard works in DOS now. So actually, I do want to boot from CD-ROM because I want to try to install some a CD-ROM drivers on the hard drive so that I can install Windows 98 Second Edition. Hey, there we go. This DVD drive does work with the Oak Technology drivers. Yes, Joe, I have a $1,000 capture card. And that's all through the magic of I bought it used off eBay. I did not pay $1,000 for it. The capture card that I'm using actually does DOS mode quite nicely. It does Macintoshes quite nicely. It does. It even will do vintage video games very nicely. Oh, Joe, if I'm installing Second Edition, I need to leave the hard drive not formatted because this is the upgrade. So, I want to install. Oh, maybe Joe's Joe knows here. Joe, just confirm that I can still do this even with an upgrade CD. Joe has given me a bunch of commands, which I will gladly do. All right, well. Okay, so let me put the Second Edition disc in. I need to give it the original CD during the process. Okay, well then let me skip the format because I have Windows. This is just let's try things. So, I don't need to. It's okay if it upgrades Windows 3.1 that's already on the drive. So CD Win98. I think Joe is giving me the way of doing this. C: make dir Windows 98. CD Windows 98. D: D: copy star C:. Well, that's weird. Oh. Oh, that's let's try that. Oh, even an original CD will work. Okay. Because the upgrade it says for users of Windows 3.1 and Windows 95. You have bad RAM or a bad disk. No, actually, I think I forgot to do a CD. Oh, Joe, the problem was I forgot to do the CD Windows 98 on the D drive. That's actually what I have a bad ability to follow DOS commands in chat windows. Yeah, it's working now. Yeah, Retrotech Chris tested this. I was pretty sure it would work. Yeah, maybe Xcopy would be better. Since you have 3.1, the upgrade should work. Yeah, I'm allowed to use the upgrade. I just want to see this work, so... Hey, Rudy! I mean, in reality, if I find the cable I'm looking for... So let me go see if I can find the wire I was looking for that I misplaced, like always. I'll let this copy while I look for it. There we go. So to actually connect the Sound Blaster link, I'm just going to use this. I don't think it has to be short. It's the first one I found, but I'm just going to use one of these. So. All right. So I am. So the goal of this is to get to get a PCI sound card to be able to play a DOS game in MS-DOS from the Windows 98 MS-DOS. So I guess it'd be MS-DOS 7.0. So I am, though, actually half tempted to, before I actually install Windows 98, I'm tempted to actually boot back into DOS 622 and see if the sound card's detected. But I just realized that if it does actually work, I have no way of proving it because I need to connect an audio capture device. Oh, wrong keyboard. Actually, I don't think I need to reboot. Let me see if I've got a... Oh, there we go. Okay, so I do need to shut down to plug this cable in, because I'm afraid that I might do something bad if I don't. But I'm pretty sure this pin is a 1-to-1 cable, so... Alright, so let me power this down real quick so I can plug this cable in. So here's the sound card side. So blue is going to be the position that is actually the key. So from what I found on this, it's pretty much a... So I think actually the way I put this cable in, see, that's pin 1 is violet. So pin 6 is going to be green because pin 3 is blue. And then pin 2 is red because I really chose poorly for... I should have used the red one for pin 1, but I didn't. Oh well. Moving along. So then pins 2, 4, and 6. This is the one thing while I was running through those BIOS settings to set other BIOS settings, I noticed there was not a setting for SB Link. So I think this may be hardwired to connect IRQ 5 and DMA 1 to the sound card. So and for this experiment, I am just going to let it boot into DOS 622 because I forgot. I wanted to try that. Then we'll go back to installing Windows 98. So, oh. But I have no way of proving it's working because I don't have any speakers plugged into this sound card. Aw, that's too bad. Do I have anything down here? Somewhere I've got an audio capture device on my desk. And it's... Uh-oh. Did I just bump something? Yes, I did. Just bump... Oh! I bumped something on the scaler. Not to worry. Okay, so I do have an audio capture device. It is plugged in. I should be able to add it to OBS. But let's see if actually let's just go for it. Let's see if it doesn't just like completely blow up when I do this. So if I tell it adlib, okay, it didn't completely blow up. That's probably a good sign. So I need an audio cable. So I guess I want to go run upstairs real quick. So while I'm upstairs, place your bets in the chat. If I plug a set of speakers into this sound card when I get back downstairs, are we going to hear Planet X3 or are we going to hear nothing? And Joe, we are getting to Windows 98 like really soon. So hold your thingamajigs and your other thingamas. I will be right back. I just opted for going to grab a pair of speakers instead of actually trying to hook up a audio capture device. So I don't have much room on my desk for speakers. But they had the added benefit of not potentially causing OBS to get really angry. So plus I can turn them down really quickly when we get to the Windows. Welcome to Windows. You just installed it sound, which I think will give you a copyright match. Oh, well. Although one problem with removing the PCI bracket so you can just plug the sound card in is that there's apparently two green speaker jacks, and the one I need to plug this into is the top one. All right. And that would be a big no. All right, so that didn't just work. Oh, it doesn't detect the sound card. That's probably why. Unisound. Let's see. That blaster equals. Um, 1 moment. Let me set my blaster variable. So it should be set blaster A220 I5 D1. And I think the type is probably a, we'll say a T1. Actually, I'm not even going to set that. Let's see if that maybe makes it work. Nope. All right, one more. Unisound may not support this drive. Okay, it doesn't support that. So, all right. That doesn't seem to work. So, therefore, I guess maybe we do need to install. We need to install Windows first. So, therefore, let me go ahead and. All right, we'll move along to the Windows install. I may come back to that for another time to see if that, by chance, if I can get that to work. Just double check that the settings. Yep. All right. Should be good. Yeah, well, Unisound supports a lot of different sound cards. I was wondering if it even just detected the card. I'm not sure if you need DOS drivers or not. It's just supposed to like work, maybe. Let's see. Everything is broken. Garage is betting me one Zenith ATXT clone, and well, of course, I didn't see in the chat what the bet is, and I don't have one to offer back if I lose the bet. All right, we're doing it. We're doing it, Joe. We're doing it this time for reals. So boot from CD-ROM. Start computer with CD-ROM support. Why am I doing this? I don't need CD-ROM support. Okay, I'm silly because I copied all the files to the hard drive. I don't think I need CD-ROM support. Um, plug and play PCI cards could get a little picky. You know, I bet I probably needed to. I bet I needed to do a manual setup of that sound card. Yeah, that probably was it. So maybe here we go. So I accept the agreement. Next. So yeah, Joe's giving me oh. Okay. What Yep. Sorry, Joe. Sometimes I'm dense. So you have to tell me several times because the chat scrolls up and then I lose the command and then you repeat it and then I remember you gave me the faster way. And this is probably the way I wish I knew 20 years ago. Also, I ejected the CD stupidly and it got mad at me. I'll leave the CD in the drive. Of course, I could probably just run it from MS-DOS. I don't know why I'm doing this, but anyways. Yeah, I did something silly and I'm doing something silly again and I'm doing something silly. All right. Whoa. All right. That was weird. Well, I'll just let it boot from MS-DOS. Actually, let me no, I'll just use the keyboard for now. Oh, I can skip the RAM check. I know this RAM works, and it's ECC RAM, so IE skips making a boot floppy. Well, that's good, because I don't have a floppy drive connected. So that'd be awkward when it gets to creating a boot floppy, and it can't. There we go. All right. Setup /IE /IV /IV /IS/NR. There we go. So yeah, Joe says /IE skips making a boot floppy. /IV skips bypasses displaying the setup screens during an upgrade within Windows. /IS skips disk check. /NR skips registry checks. Not exactly sure how many of those are wise because I really don't know that the disk is okay, but it probably is okay. I mean, I've been fairly okay with the disk. And the Windows 3.1 registry is probably okay. And well, it hasn't gotten to 7 minutes yet, but it does seem to be kind of. The CPU is kind of warm. Maybe I should. Oh, there we go. I accept the agreement. Yes. And now I'm going to scroll the chat because Joe, from memory, put a product key in the chat, and it is now time to see if that is correct. But I gotta find Joe's comment. There we go. Oh no, that is not a valid product key. Okay. Well, I am going to. I think I know what Windows is complaining about. So yeah, I'm. Oh, I have a fix, but you'll have to hold on one moment. All right, we're good. Hey, at least the rest of the upgrade will be fast. And for anyone that wonders why I went back to be right back, well, I don't want to give away all my secrets. But save system files. So I can uninstall Windows 98 if necessary. Actually, I do not want to save them because portable, compact, custom. I probably just want typical. Install the most common components. That sounds good. Computer name. Win98. Computer description. I don't know. FIC VB 601 Pentium 400 megahertz. There we go. That works for me. I am in the United States. Start copying files. This is taking long enough. All right. Ludicrous speed, go. All right, we are at 26 minutes. We're already 6% of the way through the file copy. It says Windows 98 Second Edition, if anyone's wondering. And yeah, it's the upgrade version. I tried buying the I tried acquiring a copy of the full version, and that didn't work out so well. In fact, I have to wait until Saturday before I can let eBay step in. Something tells me that seller is not going to ship it ever. 25 minutes, and we're 15% of the way in. Which, by the way, most eBay sellers, I think, want ridiculous prices for Windows 98. But so I found one that didn't want a ridiculous price for Windows 98. I was kind of concerned by the recent negative feedback that they might have vanished from the face of eBay. But the price won me over, and I attempted to buy it now. And that still hasn't shipped. Well, Joe, I am apparently, yes. Yes, I could use that. How about I will remind you next time you are sending me something to include that? How about that? You don't need to send it separate. I'm sure I'll order something from you soon enough. I'll just remind you to put it in. Oh, also, speaking of reminders, I think I was last week was telling people to remind me to order flux. Look what was sitting on top of my desolder station the whole time that I was streaming and thinking I was running out of flux. It's like 3 2/3 to 3/4 of a tube of flux. It was sitting right in front of me the whole time. It was just sitting behind the bracket for the Pentium 2 processor that I do need to reinstall. Oh, that's fine, Joe. The Windows 98s that I tried to acquire, the one I actually received and the one I tried to buy weren't all complete, nicely boxed either. In most cases, I could care less about the box because I can store more in less space if I don't have the box. Now, there are things that I will go to get the box for. We're at 23 minutes, 65%. I am going to go to Justin Cam, though. There are some things that I do want the box of because they're just ridiculous or something like that. Which, actually, I need to take that upstairs and put that on my knick-knack shelf in my studio. But yes. Have you ever really seen... I mean, you realize, probably looking at this is a big box. But for those of you that have never seen exactly how big a Microsoft Assembler box is, this is like... I mean... Yeah. I mean, I don't have the largest hands in the world, but this is what... I mean, LGR talks about big box games. Hey, LGR. Microsoft one-upped your big box games. That is what I call a big box. And yet it's on only, like, maybe, I think, like 2 or 3 floppy disks. It's got manuals in it. That's why the box is so big. But yeah, it's almost a cube. Yeah, seriously. I mean, it's got manuals in it. It's got disks. I mean, actually, I'm not sure it says how many disks are in it on the front. Yeah, it's got 1.44 megabyte disk. I think it's on like 2 or 3, but might just be. I think if you're installing Microsoft Assembler for DOS, you might only have to use the first disk. I think it's all the Windows stuff that requires more disks. But yeah, that is... So, when LGR talks about big boxes, I chuckle because that's my standard for big box. Now, granted, that's not a game, but... It's like... Yes, so that's big box. Yeah. Yeah, see, yeah, everything is broken, saying CS4 Master Collection. Yeah, that is a big box. Yes, Joe, I do need more shelves. I not only will, if I get coffee tips, will I probably put some towards shelves, but if you would rather make sure I get shelves, I think there's some on my Amazon wish list. Now, they're not like the really heavy duty ones, because I got a lot of stuff that I just need to put on shelves that are like lighter weight, but they have the benefit of being rolling. But yeah. Yep, well, we'll see. Yep, see you when you get back, Dave. I do need more shelves. I could use some more bins, too. I could actually use a few beige cases, so if... I would like to know if Retrotech Chris is still in the chat. Are there any good, like, e-waste places up your neck of the woods? Because... Yeah, it's kind of... Cases are one thing I just refuse to buy off eBay because they want too much... Oh, good, we're rebooting. Okay, let me go back to that view now that I've showed off my big box collection. Yeah, I need... Well, the reason I need more shelves is because I need to get bins, and I need shelves to put those bins on, because what you don't see are, like, all the component bags and tubes and whatnot that are just, like, surrounding me that really need to go in bins and boxes. Nothing you know of? Okay. Yeah, I was kind of thinking there might be a e-waste place up there. So, Maybe I'll have to check and see if there's anything in Richmond. Okay, you haven't gone looking, though. Well, if you happen to think about it one day when you're just, like, thinking, I wish I had some bit or bob for your next project, and you happen to figure out there is an e-waste place up your neck of the woods, I might have to make a day trip. Maybe we can go together. Otherwise, I may look to see if there's anything in Richmond, because that's at least just like about an hour away. Well, okay. Depending on which side of Richmond, it could be about an hour away. It could be like 2+ hours away, depending on side of Richmond and time of day. because I would be on the western side of Richmond, so I can get to the Apple Store in Richmond very easily because it's like right one of the first Richmond exits. But Richmond, Virginia is fairly big, has lots of interstates, lots of toll roads, and yeah, it could very well, depending on the time of day, take at least an hour to get over to the other side of Richmond. Just depending traffic and how long you drive, and if it's in the suburb of Richmond or in Richmond, and finding a parking spot. Yes, Retrobits might know. That's a good idea too, Chris. Yes. And place that has big box software in Woodbridge. I mean, I may have to check that out. There are a few big box titles that I wouldn't mind having the actual box for. But in a lot of cases, in fact, for the Dawsember videos, I was just buying the CD. Just partially because the CD-ROM drive Chris sent me needed pressed CDs. It doesn't like burned CDs. So that's why I was buying a few pressed CDs. But I just bought the CD version. It was just the CD. I didn't need the box. Just the CD. Restore in Herndon, Virginia. Okay. That is a Restore in Herndon, Virginia. Yeah, that sounds familiar. I think I remember oh, the Habitat that's yeah. Oh, I wish I was using StreamYard to show that comment, Chris, but I'll just have to read. Yeah, Chris is saying he doesn't look for things locally. He instead goes to Texas and fills his suitcase and pays overweight charges to bring it back. Yeah. Good one, Chris. Yes, the Restore is a Habitat for Humanity store. I will have to go check it out. I definitely would not mind going to shop there for cool stuff. I like supporting the Habitat restores. In fact, I might even look to see if they have any like online shopping of their stuff, but they may not do that for the computer stuff. Yes. All right, so let's see here if I can navigate this without a mouse because I didn't bother plugging in the mouse. There we go. Not that I necessarily expect Windows 98 is going to correctly, automatically. Actually, I'm going to uncheck that. It probably won't handle daylight savings time correctly. Let me see. Yeah, and Everything is Broken Garage is pointing out, don't forget to make posts on local Facebook and buy-sell groups offering to pick up e-waste for free. That's how he finds a lot of stuff. Yes, Chris, I will definitely let you know. I will find a I will find a good day to do it. Might wait till spring when the weather's just a bit warm and I'd be less afraid that I pick a day that turns out to be a icy disaster. And yeah, I think they did change daylight savings time after Windows 98. So maybe early spring when I'm not afraid I set a date and it's an icy disaster, we'll we'll pick a day and we'll hang out and we'll go to the restore, and then maybe anywhere else we might figure out between now and then. So, oh wow. So Jeremy's sharing. So yeah, if you found some, if you got a thrifting bargain, yeah, share it in the chat while we wait for Windows to set up, because we're in the 7-minute stretch after all. So Jeremy's Vintage Hillbilly Shack says his dad shops a restore. He recently picked up a tow cable that goes for $200 new, and he got it for $20. Awesome deal. Retro Tech Chris, excellent, flexible. So, all right, yeah, I'll look at my calendar. We'll pick something for early spring when it might actually be a nice day, or at least not snowy. And yeah, we'll check out what might be up there in terms of e-waste. Yes. We'll talk to Rick's Random Retro as well. So, oh no, the 7-minute stretch is over because we just went 6, 5, 4. I guess that's because we're installing from a hard drive. 3. 2. Oh, yeah, YouTube tagging is silly. And it probably highlighted your comment to yourself, didn't it? All right. So I have the speaker. The speaker is still plugged in, but I don't expect there's going to be sound because I haven't installed sound card drivers. I do have the sound card driver disk floating around here somewhere, but I think we got a little bit more before I can actually install it. I haven't downloaded Windows 98 drivers for the video card, but it should work with the built-in. Oh, okay, it's using my old AudioExec bat file. Windows did not detect a mouse attached. Of course you didn't. There is no mouse attached. Yeah. See, Joe, I can't install Windows 98. I just wanted to see if the sound card would, just work in DOS. Obviously, there's a little bit more than just working that needed to be done. Alright, so if you've installed Windows 98 a bazillion times, go ahead and play this song in the back of your mind, because I know you're doing it. It's playing in the back of my mind, too. Unfortunately, I believe I am turning that off because I do believe it would garner a copyright strike. Or maybe not copyright strike, but a copyright match. Install chipset, then DirectX, then video, then everything else. Okay, I do not have the chipset drivers. Then I do not have DirectX. I do not have video. I have sound card drivers. We're installing those. Actually, first I'm going to shut Windows down and install a mouse, because I may see how bad the device manager is, and Joe may convince me that I really need to install those drivers in that order, because otherwise I'm going to have a bad experience if I don't. Let me plug a mouse in just because. Oh, all right. Cool. RetroTech Chris is going to see how he configured them in DOS. Someone on Mastodon was telling me that or was implying that there was a way to do it. And I tried to elicit a response. Maybe see if I could get a hint of what he did to get PCI sound cards to work in DOS without SB Link, and they work on Sound Blaster mode, but I never got a reply. So yeah, yeah, that song lives free in all of our heads. Installed Windows 98 back in the day. Yeah, I mean Microsoft should be paying us for the storage fees for that song. But instead, I think that song is in Content ID because they want the royalties from our streams. But they should be paying storage fees in our mind for that song, which I think should cancel out. Or is it maybe is it the XP one that I'm thinking of gets Content ID matched? Well, I guess don't want to get Content ID matched, even though nowhere near partner program yet, but well, why would I want to give them free royalties when I can just avoid it by muting the sound? Oh, did I do something dumb like plug the mouse into the keyboard port? I bet I did. The thing is, I don't have the bracket for your display adapter conflicts with another device in your computer. That's nice. This device cannot find any free input-output range resource. Oh, ew. Gross. Gross, gross, gross. What am I conflicted with? Mouse's top PS2 port. Oh, well, that is not where I plugged it in. I thought it was the bottom one. Alright, let me shut down so I can unplug a PS2 mouse. Yep, I'm powering down. If I was smart, I would have... Okay, so it's the other port. I don't have the PCI bracket for this motherboard, so I couldn't easily look at it. I don't have the manual handy either. Okay, so the mouse should be in the correct port now. Alright. Yeah, so it looks like I got a I/O address conflict on this board, which is weird because all I have plugged in is a video card and a sound card. And it doesn't have onboard video on this board because it's just a Intel, was it LX chipset or something like that? Or EX chipset, or trying to read whatever the Pentium 2 chipset was. No, I don't have the IO shield. The keyboard and mouse symbols would be on the IO shield. It's not on the silk screen where I can see it. I don't have the IO shield. I don't have an appropriate beige case for this computer either. Now, I might convince myself to put a computer like this in a black case because they're easier to get, and it's just an ATX system. And I think they were starting to be a thing when Pentium 2s were around, but there we go. I think it found the mouse. You'll get resource conflicts with standard PCI drivers, so I guess I really do need to go... I may have to go download the chipset drivers and somehow get them on the system without driving myself crazy. Okay. I was afraid of that. Wow, I'm detecting lots of Why am I detecting all this hardware now? I'm just plugging in a mouse. Alright. I just want to see the device manager. Okay, Windows 98's weird. Apparently it wanted a mouse connect. Alright, let's see how badly I'm conflicted here. Oh, the PCI multimedia audio device is conflicting with, yeah, standard PCI graphics. Hey, Frank, welcome. Okay, everything is broken. Garage has an IBM, a Pentium 2 IBM Aptiva that's in a black case. Okay, I was thinking they were starting to be a thing. So maybe this computer I might just put in a black case then. It'd be a whole lot easier. In fact, I have one I could probably use. It currently has a... I think it's a Pentium 4-ish system in it. But I might use it just because it's a case I already have, and well, this seems like it might be a nice little system if I can get it up and running. And it is a Lian Li case, so it's a nice case. It's a system though I didn't build. One of my coworkers, one of the guys I used to work with, gave it to me because it was his old grad school computer, and he was like, "I have no use for this. I was just going to get rid of it. Would you like it?" I of course said yes, because otherwise it was just going to go in a scrap bin somewhere. So I don't have any attachment to the computer. I mean, it has some neat cards in it. The video card in it's like a pretty... It's like a fairly high-end graphics card for the time. I don't remember which one it is. And it's not the highest one. It's like... It's an NVIDIA. And it's like the GS version of the card that the GT was the best version of. So it's a decent card, but... Let's see. Will that bracket work? Yeah. That looks like it. It's in Hong Kong, though. But I'll add it to my watch list. I think I found some auctions that I could spend almost as much and get, like, multiple brackets, so I had more for the future. And those were in the States. I may do that, too, but I'll look. I just added that to my watch list, so I've got that saved. Okay, so I need to go on a driver escapade. I don't have a network card for this computer. So, therefore, I'm going to have to probably use a USB thumb drive, and that's going to be fun. Oh, it's the 440BX chipset. Oh, here we go. The RetroWeb has the chipset installation utility on their website. That's really cool. Chipset first. Okay, I have the chipset. I do not have... Oh, yes, I do have a thumb drive. Oh, it's 8 gigabytes, though. So Windows 98 is going to hate it. Okay. Hold please while I make sure there's nothing important on this thumb drive, because I'm going to have to format it in the... I'm going to have to format it to something smaller than 8 gigabytes. Actually, no. Well, let me double check. If it's FAT32, then it might be fine. If it's in TFS, then... Oh, yeah, that's not going to work. That is... Oh, that's something funky. Hold please while I format that thumb drive. Because as I figured, it was not... It's not just an 8 gigabyte thumb drive. It's actually a Windows installation thumb drive, Which actually, let me... No, maybe it's not that. It's EFI boot. Oh, okay. I can format this. I thought it was a Windows something or other because it had more than one volume on it, but it's actually a memtest 86 thumb drive. So I can I just need to hold on. Why delete volume. Disk 1, partition 2. I know you all are probably screaming in the chat, and I'm trying to delete the third volume on this thumb drive so I can... New simple volume. No. I really do need to erase this whole drive. Properties. Volumes. Driver. Alright, how do I use Windows 10 to delete the EFI system partition on a thumb drive? And let me guess, the answer is probably I need to use something other than Windows. Okay. Yes, Jeremy, much better location. I won't be waiting forever for it. That's more like it. Yeah, and that looks like that'll also work. I'll just have to tape over the two presumable LAN ports that don't exist. But yeah, that's much more like it. I actually would I would get it in a much more reasonable time. DOS F disk. I was afraid you were going to say that, and I really did not want to format this. I didn't want to format this thumb drive in a Pentium 2, but I think my hands have been forced. I'm going to have to format this in the Pentium 2. All right, let me shut down into MS-DOS mode so I can run fdisk. Oh, I guess I can run fdisk in... Oh, okay, that's true. I can run fdisk in DOS to delete the partition. Maybe. Use disk part in Windows from an elevated command. Oh! Thank you, Joe. I knew if someone would in the chat would know. All right. Command prompt, run as administrator. So, disk part. Yeah, that's not going to work. You're right. So I just run disk part. All right. So I need to... I guess list. Okay, select disk. Okay, select disk 1 because I just listed the disk, so I knew which one would be, and then list part. Okay, it's got partition 1, which is the one I need to delete. Yep, I'm on an elevated command prompt, which is why I'm trying to be extra careful. Delete. Delete. Oh. Help. Deletes the partition with focus. Oh, let me guess. I've got to select partition 1, maybe? Ah, yep. Delete partition. Oh, and I got to force it. What's that? Force. Oh, okay. Override. Okay. Yeah, I got it deleted, Joe. So now I have no partitions on the disk. So I should be able to create a partition, maybe. Ah, here we go. Help create partitions. So I need to create partition primary. List partition. All right, I've got a primary partition. Yeah. I think at this point I should have a. Yeah, I bet at this point if I bring up Disk Manager, I can now format it because I just created the partition with. I may have to unplug it and replug it, but I should have a primary partition on the drive. Yep, there we go. Format. New volume. Call the volume Windows 98. File system FAT32. Allocation size default. Quick format. Formatting this volume will erase all data. Yep, I know. And Bob's your uncle. Unless Bob's not your uncle. Then Bob's not your uncle. And then maybe it will mount the drive any day now. Disk management. Oh, I bet I've got to assign it a. Hold on. I'm just gonna. Check that. Plug that back in. There we go. All right. Got it. So I've got the chipset drivers downloaded. I have a thumb drive formatted in FAT32. Windows 98 should be okay with an 8GB FAT32 partition. Yeah, I got it formatted, Joe. It probably was painful, but I got it formatted. To save myself trouble, I'm going to move the keyboard to the other USB plug. I can plug the thumb drive in. Barely, but there we go. It fits. Yeah, all right. I rebooting out of MS-DOS mode. And so I got the chipset drivers. So while I wait for Windows to boot and the chipset drivers to install, what was the second item I needed to install, Joe? It was, you said chipset, and then Okay, the sound card is it's an A open AW744L2, and of course the 2 is an II. It's in Roman numerals. I found my thumb drive, I think. Or, well, it found an unknown device. That's could be bad. Oh no. Let me guess. It needs drivers for the um Yep, Sound Blaster compatible card. Hit enter 5 times. Oh. Well, I thought I wanted to like oh, 1, 2. Oh, okay. Oh, it was looking for oh, that's right. Windows 98. It needs keyboard drivers. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. I thought I was having trouble with the thumb drive. It's the keyboard. Thank you, Joe, for actually paying attention to what I was trying to install drivers for. Hopefully it saw the thumb drive, though. Um, no. Do I have a catch-22 situation where I... let me... It doesn't like my thumb drive. I bet it doesn't like my thumb drive. Okay, let me try unplugging it, plugging it back in. I may have to go upstairs and burn a chipset driver disk. Which I guess if I do that, I'll just install all the drivers. Oh, there we go. Now it likes it. No, it doesn't like it. Uh, I don't miss the Windows 98 days. I guess I'm gonna have to go put the drivers on a recordable CD, and I guess maybe it's good that Chris sent me this DVD drive because it should be totally fine with a burned disk. Because in order to install the chipset drivers, so I can install the DirectX, so I can install the video driver, so I can install everything else, so I can install the Windows 98 update so that I can see thumb drives. Or at least so I could just install the Windows 98 update. Oh, the thumb drive may be too new. You are correct. Ghost, yeah, there's Windows 98 Second Edition Ghost install images. Yes, Justin, yes. There is a universal driver that fits on a floppy. Well, that would require me to find the GoTech that I have creatively misplaced. Let me see. I mean, I could actually go. I actually have a physical floppy drive down here. I could actually plug in a physical floppy drive. Although, hold please before I completely forget to send a photo to Adam McGee because he asked a question. Um, actually, or I guess Adam, if you're lurking, I think you can write disks for the. Actually, I don't think you need an applesauce to write disks for the TRS-80. Because I think I've seen Adrian Black do it with IM disk and floppy drive. I'm pretty sure I did. Well, okay. Well, it's upside down, but at least I remembered to post the photo that I told Adam I'd post. Okay. Okay. I need a floppy drive or a floppy disk. And people are sending me links left and right. Okay, I think that is what I need. Actually, that is probably not what I want because that is not an official download. Although maybe it doesn't matter because this is an old. Well, maybe Major Geeks is legitimate. I've not heard of them. All right. Well, I need to probably put that on a disc. I don't have any. I don't keep discs down here. I guess at least let me start the download of that. And let's see. I put the chipset drivers on the CD. Let me scroll up and see. Okay, they're legit. All right. I don't have objections to unofficial patches as long as they're not going to give me viruses on every last computer in the house. All right. I'm scrolling up in the chat. I need to remember what Joe told me to download because I'm about to go. Okay, so he says install chipset, then DirectX, which it looked like DirectX was on the sound card disk for whatever reason. Then video. Okay. So let me go to NVIDIA's website. Believe it or not, they actually still have drivers for this card on their website. So this is I think a GeForce. It is a 6 series, I believe. Show all operating systems. Windows 98. Of course, I want the game ready driver because that would be silly the studio driver didn't exist back then. So this is, let me check this is the correct driver. So it does work with the GeForce 6200. Yes, confirmed. All right, I've got the NVIDIA drivers downloading because those are still on their website. Yay. Yep, 81.98 Forceware, Windows 9X English. Yes, correct. So Microsoft DirectX 9.0C. Aha! Of course, that link does not work. Microsoft redirects you to their main download page because, of course, why would they want you to? Yeah, I want DirectX 90C, but I gotta find I gotta find the download because Microsoft doesn't want you to download DirectX 9.0C. They want you to buy a new computer. DirectX redistributable June 20 details. Okay, I think I might have found something on Microsoft website that will work. Maybe. Doesn't look right. Hold on. Let me search their downloads. Maybe they still have it. Maybe they still have it. It's just the link I followed that was supposedly going to it was not a valid link. Yeah, I know it's like everywhere, Joe, except of course the one time you click on the link on Nvidia's website that went to a page on Microsoft's website that was the link was broken. Probably had 90C on your. Wait a minute. Oh, well, why don't I just go upstairs and grab my Diablo installer disk? I bet that's got DirectX 90C on it. Here we go. Joe's got the link. There we go. Thank you, Joe. Oh, if it'll download. There we go. All right, those are downloading. While that's downloading, because DirectX is almost the largest of those downloads, let me go grab a recordable CD so that I can burn them, or a recordable DVD, whichever one I find first. This DVD ROM drive probably is not too picky because, yeah, the CD from earlier had 8 on it. We want 90C apparently. All right, let me go grab a disc I can burn to, or I'll grab the spindle if I can find the spindle. I'll be right back. Great. I grabbed some discs. Burn files to disk from Explorer. That should be fine. Disk title Win98 stuff. Like a USB flash drive. There we go. I want that style. Files ready to be written to disk. Yes, I did make sure I picked the option that was not the like a USB drive. Oh, does not. Hold on. Extract. Oh. All right. So, chipset drivers. Yes, I have files waiting to be burned. Microsoft, thank you for stating the obvious. Video drivers. DirectX redistributable. Windows 98 service pack. All right. And burn to disk. Recording speed 16x. I mean that should work. All right. I want to burn files fast. All right. Now, before I managed to knock over my other discs because I had to bring the whole box down, I'd never opened it. Let me put them back in the box. I don't want to damage my verbatim discs. Yes, there is a Disco Inferno going on in my streaming computer. I'm just glad the Blu-ray burner in my streaming computer actually still works, because I don't think I'd burned a disc in it for like years. All right. I don't want to put a disk in drive E. Windows, there we go. Go away. All right. So will Windows 98 willingly accept this burned disk? Well, I grabbed the wrong mouse in an attempt to... There we go. It should work. I used a decent quality disk. There we go. All right, so let me just slam these files in my documents, because in Windows 98 time, there wasn't a downloads folder. Yes, I could make a downloads folder. I might do that shortly, but I just want to copy these. Copy there. I have no idea why Windows 98 wanted to create a shortcut there. Probably because, well, Windows 98 was kind of silly. Oh, woohoo! I have a new subscriber. Yay! I think I'm at 199 now. Yay! I mean, I know it's not necessarily a numbers game, but, well, it's a numbers game, face it. YouTube makes it a numbers game, even if the producer, the live streamer or producer or whatnot doesn't really want to make it a numbers game. YouTube makes it a numbers game. So yay, I have 199 subscribers. One more, and I'll be at an even but not really computing relevant number. But it'll be an even number. While I wait for that to copy, I am kind of somewhat concerned about my hey Thomas. Yes, I have 199. If I had 10 times as many plus another 9, you'd have my high school graduation year. I mean, not to admit how old I am, but, well, I only admitted to when my high school graduation year was. Alright, let's install the chipset drivers before... And I'm just hoping all of these install, because the funny thing could be that some of these may not actually work on Windows 98. Okay, well, this looks good. So far, so good here. All right. Yep. Want to restart my computer. I guess I'll inject my... All right, it liked my DVD. It may have not liked my 8 GB thumb drive. Be that way, Windows 98, but at least it likes my 4.7 GB DVD. I am kind of trying to see if I have a computer fan laying around on my workbench somewhere. I was kind of wanting to point a fan at my Pentium 2 processor. I mean, it's not overheating, but I mean, it is a little bit warm. I don't think I got a fan that I can see right offhand. I do have to say my heater, at least, I mean, it's not exceedingly cold in my basement, but it actually is making it. Uh-oh. That's not good. Oh. The computer's locked up. Let me see if I can figure out which one of these is the reset switch. Actually, I think it's that one right there. Yes, that was the chipset installation. I was installing the chipset. The chipset installed. It told me to restart Windows, and I restarted Windows. And then when Windows restarted, I was looking away, and I turn around and I see Windows protection error. You need to restart. Yeah, I must have installed Microsoft Clippy first instead. Yeah, I think I might have. That's an error. Yeah, I know. I mean, maybe I. Well, if it happens again, I'll turn the computer off and put a different stick of memory in, just in case it's a like bad SD-RAM or something. Or I guess I could check BIOS settings, make sure I didn't set something stupid. All right. Uh, boot. Okay. Boot. Safe mode. Uninstall. Format. Remove programs. Reboot. Okay. Windows is running in safe mode. Safe mode. Safe mode. Safe mode. Which always made me then want a dangerous mode. Dangerous mode. Dangerous mode. Dangerous mode. Um, well, that's convenient. The chipset drivers don't have an add remove program entry. Maybe there's a program. No. Danger model. Actually, I think I might have a. Yeah, that is really nice, isn't it? So now I just installed. The Intel README. Ah, maybe I should have read the README before I installed it. Let me double check the README to make sure it doesn't say something like, like, don't install this on Windows 98 Second Edition or something like that. Okay, so this is for the... Alright, for Intel 440BX AGP set. First one on the list. That's the one I'm using. So far, so good. One of the operating systems must be installed. Windows 98 Second Edition. Alright, also good. Yeah, maybe I do need to format it, Joe. Systems with at least 32 megs of memory. Okay. System requirements. Those any running programs. Haven't installed anything else, so that kind of... I mean, I could try running the installer again in safe mode. Installing in silent mode. Installing the INF files prior to OS installation. Oh, well, that actually, this could be handy. Yeah, no, install systems 6.0.8. Done, yeah. Who needs these colors? Yeah, 1-Bit Fever Dream says, no need for colors. Copy the Windows 98 inf files from... There are 2 cases. Here we go. Yeah, installer mode won't run in safe mode. Yeah, maybe let me try normal boot. If that doesn't work, I'll reboot back into safe mode. Find the INF files that installed, which should be floating around somewhere, and I'll slipstream them into the Windows 98 install, and I'll just reinstall Windows. Because Joe thought he was being funny when he said format C:/Q setup /IE/IV/IS/NR -LOL. But I don't think the -LOL parameter is valid for the Windows setup. I mean, I can try it, but I don't think the installer is going to laugh. But Jeremy's telling me to wait, but I've already rebooted. I can do step-by-step load. Okay. Yeah, I can try that first, too. I can also watch the computer to see what it does when it actually barfs, if it barfs again. No, actually, it looks like it's actually installing. Maybe it just really wanted to go into safe mode. I mean, I'll have to go back in the live stream. I didn't see what it did before it went to protection mode, but... Okay, yeah, it may be a hidden file or folder. Pack it all up and bring it here this weekend. We'll get it running. Yeah. Yeah, if I get desperate enough, I'll do it. But it looks like it's working now. Maybe it installed the first of the drivers from the chipset, and then just got unhappy and needed a reboot to install everything else. I mean, yeah, it looks like it's installing now. It's installing all the chipset drivers. Yeah, I'll run a memory test on this RAM. I mean, it's parity RAM. So I would think if there was a parity error, it might might actually halt the system. Yeah, I'll do a RAM check when I can. Actually, Joe, I did run Check It on this RAM. The version of Check It I haven't had installed on this hard drive only supports up to 16 megabytes of RAM. All right, folks, am I going to get to 200 subscribers before Retro Techie gets to 360? I just need one more sub. Apparently, Retro Techie and I are having a contest, and I didn't even know it. Well, at least it didn't tell me my graphics card is conflicting with the IRQ blah 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 blah. It's Windows 90. Yeah, Nick. Hey, Nick, welcome. Yeah, Nick's saying that, it's still conflicting, of course. Cannot find any free input-output range resources to use. That is weird. I might need to go in the BIOS and check things. If you hold down Shift during a reboot, it doesn't worm reboot and doesn't go all the way back to BIOS. Okay. I think I may need to go back to BIOS because I think I may have something set up improperly in the BIOS because I still have an IRQ or a DMA conflict. Or an IO range conflict. Oh, so I just need to install graphics drivers. Okay. All right. So Joe's order was chipset, then DirectX, wait, set config. Oh, I thought Joe told me to install DirectX before the graphics card. Yeah, yeah. That's why I thought Joe told me to install DirectX next. I'm sure there's a method to his madness. Well, this is just the installer, Jeremy. I'm just putting in the temp folder. I'm gonna delete them when I'm done. I don't need to keep the DirectX installer files. I'll keep the installer in case Microsoft decides they want to remove the installer from the internet, but I'm not going to keep the installer files in the temp directory. Well, congratulations, Retro Techie, for hitting 360 subscribers. Not that that's the number YouTube wants you to hit, but congratulations nonetheless. Well, Jeremy, when am I not scatterbrained? I mean, I'm a little less scatterbrained because I have some heat behind me, but yes, my $50 oscillating infrared radiator heater that I've got behind me is making the basement feel just a little bit warmer. Oh, that is true, Retro Techie. Yes, YouTube Studio does sometimes show a different number than the public interface. But in this case, it's not showing me a different number there, so. Yes, I do appreciate my coffee tips I got the other day for helping me get the little heater that it's the orange glowy orb that you can see right there. It's part of the reason I was had to move the stream back is because I went to Lowe's and picked it up. Well, I didn't pick it up. I had to go actually find it on the shelf. And for those of you that didn't hear my initial story, the person who was stocking things in the section where those were, or where the heater I was actually looking for was, didn't know that the heater I was looking for was there. So it was one of my more disappointing trips to Lowe's. But at least I realized, though, that's the heater I actually needed, because the one I was going to get, I looked at the box, I realized it would have not been what I wanted. It would have probably not been as satisfying. Because this one actually oscillates. Oh. Also, it does help when you're doing things in Windows to use the correct keyboard. There we go. I got DirectX installed, so I guess the next thing is the NVIDIA drivers. Yeah, but seriously, while I install the NVIDIA drivers, the yeah, go check out Retro Techie and Dave's Vintage Apple Tech and Joe's Computer Museum, Jeremy's Vintage Hillbilly Shack, Retro Tech Chris. I know there's other streamers out there that I thought I did reboot. Maybe I didn't reboot. I'm hoping it's valid to hold down the shift key for this reboot, because that's a whole lot faster. I mean, I may have not actually rebooted. So, I'll reboot out of an abundance of caution, because I wouldn't want to disrupt the order of the install. Well, Joe, I had actually... Oh, that's right. I already unzipped it. I don't need to unzip it again. That's how quickly I forgot that it unzipped it into NVIDIA Win98X 8198, and actually all I need to do now is just go run the setup program right here. Yeah, I forgot the shift key reboot trick. Yeah, Dave, given those storms, I hope you're going to wait until after the storm has passed to replace your carport cover, because wow, that carport cover, you are right. That wind made it look like shredded beef. Oh, I think I got 200 now. Way, yay! Yeah, I'm working on that retro techie. Hey, yeah, it's. Oh, I just found the CR2032 that I had intended to put in this board. It was right beside me the whole time. Upside down, of course, so I didn't see it. Also, while I was finding DVDs, I found, like... I don't know if it rebooted in the middle of an install or not, Joe. But I know when I went up to get DVDs, I found, like, the mother load of chapsticks. So... Yeah, your car cover was shredded wheat. It might have rebooted in the middle of the install. I'm hoping if it was in the middle of the install that it restarts the installer. But it prompted me to reboot, so... But wait a minute. Did it? I don't remember giving me a conflict this time. Oh, but there's... Oh, but it didn't install drivers. Maybe it did show me that. Vice manager. No, it's giving me a input-output range. We still got a hardware conflict. So it actually did install the drivers. It had a conflict. Yeah, it's conflicting. So maybe I got to do the last step here. Unfortunately, Joe, I'm not using StreamYard. I'd love to have you on, and it's still conflicting with the thing at the bottom, which I'm trying to fix right now. I looked at that. I did. If the problem is so this, it can't find a free IO address. This is conflicting because there's no drivers installed. So I'm about to reinstall the drivers. Yeah. Because those are the only two there. Because then maybe it'll show me there's a conflict once I install these drivers. Yeah, I'll do that. I'm actually going to go into the BIOS. Okay, yeah. Yep. I should have done that. I hit restart. Or at least I thought I hit restart. Hold on. All right, so I wanted to check that I actually had done something like told it I had a plug and play OS installed, because okay. I will change the resources once I get back into Windows. Now that I got the drivers installed. I don't understand why Windows didn't just install yeah, hold on. I think I know what you want me to do. I will yeah, good one. Let it do the best optimal BIOS setting. Oh, okay. If I can find my phone. Hold on. Oh, there we go. And you're gonna be on speaker, Chris.
Oh. Hey, I'll mute this so we don't get stereo here.
All right. Hey, Chris. Welcome to the stream.
I saw you let me get my phone, and it was like 15 seconds later that my phone was like rang. So, okay. So what we want to do here is let's go to properties and look at resources for that.
Okay. Oh.
And I can't see your screen because, you know, it's going to be 15 seconds behind.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, I can let you know what we got because, well, actually, the sound card is, like, doing things auto-magically.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got device manager. Okay, so the GeForce 6200. Yep,
Still
it's...
have the yellow exclamation point?
Yeah, still have it. The sound card's working.
Cool, yeah, I saw that. So you were going to go to properties and then go in and look at resources for that video card.
All right.
And there should be like different resource configuration profiles. See your screen update. I love it. Oh my god.
Oh wow, it's
Yeah. So you run the resources tab, and then you can see there should be like different profiles or set manual configuration.
Yep. So it looks like it's conflicting on 1, 2, 3, 4 memory ranges.
Turn off use automatic settings.
Okay.
And let's just try to like choose one of the other basic configurations.
All right. There are none.
See if one of those doesn't conflict. Yep, what Jeremy said in the chat just now, which is also probably 10 seconds behind. Yeah, Joe. Yeah, Joe wants to call and he can call.
Yeah, if Joe,
just send me like his phone number on Twitter and we can like dial him in.
Actually, Joe will have. I don't have Joe's phone number.
All right, I might, or he can just PM me.
Or I can actually send Joe my phone number. He can call me.
Yeah.
And hopefully
there's only one basic configuration. Oh, jeez.
I know, yeah.
All right, so just try to change the memory ranges then, and see if it'll let you do that.
Okay. Oh, first of all, rule number 1: grab the correct mouse. Change setting. All right. Oh, that can't be modified. Uh-oh.
Can't be modified?
Joe thinks he sees the issue.
Yeah, so system board, we can go and turn off system board extension, but this might be like a PM. Maybe I wonder if we need to clear the ESCD data or whatever it is on startup, and that actually might.
Oh, yeah.
Because the fact that it's conflicting with the board extension for PMP BIOS is kind of weird, but it's also trying to use a huge honking memory range all the way from 000 to Lord.
That's like the entire memory range.
What you might do is maybe let's do the sledgehammer approach. Just go into device manager, system properties, and just like delete the video card. Let's have it redetect. Sometimes that'll fix it too.
All right. Remove. Refresh. Am I relocating the video BIOS? Thomas is asking.
That's a possibility. It shouldn't. There's a video BIOS shadow option, but that probably won't impact things as much.
All right. Well, I just refreshed.
Yeah.
And
remove and then reboot. Yeah.
Remove and reboot, and if that doesn't fix it, then it'll go in the BIOS and we'll clear the ESCP and we'll turn off the shadow.
Okay.
I guess we can turn off shadowing just to see if it fixes it. I also I just eagle-eyed the BIOS version that's on this computer.
Yeah. Oh.
And I actually, from what I just eagle-eyed, can't tell how new or old it is. But there are like 4 BIOS versions on the RetroWeb's website. So, well, let's see if re-adding it fixed it, because you're right, that does sometimes fix it. But it did not. Let's see if it's still doing... Let's see if it's still trying to rule the world. Proper resources. Yeah, it's still trying to rule the world.
Jeez. I'm almost tempted to go into go disable those devices in device manager that it's conflicting with. But that's maybe you can change the addresses for those.
Let's see. Maybe we should go check the BIOS first.
Yeah, that's
because since we're conflicting with the plug-and-play BIOS, actually, I'm just going to go ahead and remove this.
Yeah.
And then
try to remove system board extension for PNP BIOS and motherboard resources and see if that helps as well.
I guess I could.
It won't hurt anything. It'll read a text.
Okay, so it was what?
System board extensions for PNP BIOS and motherboard resources. Oh, okay. Joe's supposed to be in bed.
Okay, so there's that one's gone.
Yeah.
And then you said that what was the other one?
System. Let's see.
I got the system support for plug and play BIOS.
Motherboard resources.
Ah, there's 3 of those.
Okay. Yes, 2 of those. It looks like.
Oh, 2 of them.
Yeah.
Yep. I numeric processor. I confused them.
Something else you might try. This is a PCI video card?
It's AGP.
Ah, shoot. Because with PCI, sometimes resources are held based upon slot number.
Yeah.
So a restart will, fix it.
All right, so let's double check that I don't have something like super screwy set in the BIOS. So standard CMOS setup would be nothing there.
Okay.
And
and it might be there should be an option to reset ESTD data, and there might be another option to assign plug and play. Is plug and play operating system an option? PNP, PCI configs is where you're going to want to go.
Yeah, I just disabled the video BIOS just in case.
Okay, yeah, the shadowing won't. All the shadowing does is put it. Oh, look at all those shadow regions. Nah, I don't think so. It should be fine. Okay. Yeah, PNP PCI BIOS. It's we want to go in there and make sure the PNP OS is set.
Yep, PNP OS is yes.
And then reset configuration data.
All right, got that. PCI IRQ activate by is set to level. I think that's fine.
And then assign IRQ for VGA. Maybe turn that off.
Ah, okay, we'll try that.
You try turning it on and off
again. And
all right. The IRQ. IRQ. What are your options for PCI IRQ activated by?
Yeah, let me go back to that. I just wanted to double check.
Level? All right.
Edge or level, yeah. I just wanted to double check that I didn't have something enabled on the board that maybe wasn't present.
Right.
Just because. Okay,
you have AGP card though. Okay, that's probably enough changes for now. Aren't you primary? Okay, I'm looking at that. I know I'm 10 seconds ahead of me.
I don't think that keyboard setting would do anything. Yeah, let's try that. And
try that.
Yeah, Adam's saying I should have just gotten a Mac, and believe me, I am second guessing my platform of choice for this stream right now.
Well, yeah, I'm too cheap to pay for StreamYard myself, and I hardly ever stream, so it does cost money. So
yeah, because actually the solution I'm using for streaming, granted, it only lets me have me, but it's a service called Polystreamer, and they charge $6.99 plus bandwidth.
Oh, okay.
So right now, while we wait for this to boot, let me log into Polystreamer. I can tell you how much this stream has cost me tonight. And
oh wow,
it's actually it's really cheap.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Whenever I used to stream, I would just use OBS.
Well, I actually stream to Twitch for as much as it does. I get no viewers on Twitch most of the time.
Gotcha.
So, I am streaming right now at bit rate of 8.8 megabits per second, 2 destinations.
Yeah.
The charge for that at the moment is 37 cents an hour. So this stream so far has cost me a whopping $1.05.
That's great.
And I've been going for 3 hours.
That's awesome.
So $6.99 plus bandwidth. I'm usually paying them about $10.
Gotcha.
Because probably if I go another hour or another half hour, I think my stream's gonna be about $1.40.
Okay. Yeah.
Because usually it's about my 3.5 to 4 hour streams are about $1.40, $1.50.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So. Yeah, OBS is free, but you can't have guests, and if you want to multi-stream with OBS, you have to have one heck of a uplink, which means you probably need fiber. So that
right.
I have Comcast cable. There's not fiber in this subdivision yet.
Gotcha.
Believe me, as soon as the fiber comes,
yeah,
Comcast is fired.
I've had FiOS. It's been rock solid. There's been occasional outages. They've been like 3 minutes. It's been phenomenal.
Our power co-op is running fiber on their premises. Yeah. And then, but basically what they're going to do is they'll lease their fiber that they've run in their right of way to local providers. And I think there's one lined up in this count. Oh, come on, display. I know you can't see it yet, but I just got the conflict. But there's one lined up in this county ready to provide service as soon as Rappahannock Service Authority runs the fiber. The thing is, there's like about 3 service providers around here that all start with R. Because I think I was about to give you my water company's name. So I had to stop myself. I'm like, no, the water company's not running fiber. They're, I wish they'd run fiber. Then maybe their meter would actually read more consistently. But
still having conflicts. Yuck.
And I only set the AGP window to like 64 megabytes. That was the default.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that should be fine. Okay, Joe's got some ideas. It becomes a hack fest at this point for me. Joe, may I update your BIOS? Yeah, that's not a bad suggestion. It feels like we could try to disable the resources, but at that point it's like, if it's not going to find it.
I mean, the thing is,
let's try it. Yeah, it's worth a try. It's worth a try to disable those. I mean,
actually, Dave, I think has a.
Yeah, Dave's got a good suggestion.
I think Dave's suggestion might be a good suggestion too. To at least let me take another look at the BIOS versions that were out here.
Yeah.
I mean, Retro Techie's got a valid suggestion. Joe's got a valid suggestion. Yeah. Thomas has a valid suggestion.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've got the website with the 4 BIOS versions right here.
Yeah.
So let me at least look at what these are.
Do it. Yeah. That's a good idea. Yeah.
Okay. Before I download them, though, I'm going to need to reboot and look and see what version's installed. I got the post string that's going to show up, which will help me confirm what version I might be running. So okay. So let me see. I think some of these things are going to require a reboot. So I'm going to do what Joe's suggesting first, because I think I'll have to reboot after them. And on that reboot, I'll check to see what the BIOS, the post string shows up as on the BIOS, so I know what version I've got. Because if it's the current version, then there's no sense of me trying to update, because it's already updated. Okay.
Do you have any PCI cards?
I do. It is actually, yes, right here. I actually might have the drivers downloaded already. But yeah, I've got I have this card, which I might have to use. This was, I bought this, okay. Yeah, this is show off time because it's a cool card. Let me grab the, if anyone's wondering what it is. I love the artwork on the back of their cards, but they're a number 9. The number 9 GXE 64 Pro.
Nice.
These were like the cards that everyone wanted back in the day because they had all the advertisements of that. It was like, I wanted one of these, but I couldn't afford one. Well, I picked one up a couple years ago, and this card works. So if I have to, we'll try it, and it probably will work quite easily. But anyways, so I do have a PCI card we can try. That'll be fallback plan. And spoiler alert, I ordered some more RAM for it this morning, so I can upgrade it to the full. I think it'd be full 4 megabytes. Ooh, 4 megabytes. Okay, let's go back and disable the things before Joe has a stroke in the chat.
Sounds good. I'll rejoin you on that side, but I'll give you a call back if there's anything we want to look at together.
All right, that sounds good.
All right, sounds good. Going back to the other side, so see you in 15 seconds. Okay, here we go.
All right. Retro Techie, you're funny. All right, so let's try. Oh, okay, I'm funny too. So disable the plug and play. Wait a minute. Properties. Okay. All right, hold on. Let me move some windows around so I can see the chat better. All right, I need to catch up on chat here real quick. So, yep, let's see. That's commentary on how much I pay to stream. Disable the driver in the plug and play. Wrong mouse. Jeremy, it's the your comment on the bandwidth. Streaming directly from OBS is pretty bandwidth intensive. That's why it's not a matter of, for in my case for multi-streaming, if I multi-streamed directly through OBS, I would have to have the bandwidth for 2 identical streams. Plus, my video card would be processing 2 identical streams. So I would be shoving, I wouldn't be shoving 8.5 megabits out the pipe and through the video card. I'd be shoving 17 megabytes a second out. So by using this multi-stream service, I only have to shove 1 stream out. And then they use their powerful, cheaper cloud servers to do the replication for me. That is also why there is a 15-second delay and not a slightly shorter delay, is because even though their server, I think, is up in Northern Virginia, there is a slight added delay because I'm bouncing the stream up to them and then they're bouncing it to YouTube. So I think it is adding a slight extra delay. But their service, basically, they take what OBS sends and they replicate it. But OBS doesn't have a guest feature that I know of. Let's see, I missed Joe's hack fix. Oh, Adam McGee flew to another state to do a Wi-Fi survey, and they hadn't finished building the place. Without ceilings or doors, I can't measure anything. Yeah, Adam, that sounds like quite the most useless Wi-Fi survey. This is Windows 98 2nd edition, Thomas. 8-bit ISA video card. If it comes down to it, I'll go upstairs and get it. RAM is easy to come by for that card. Well, I had trouble figuring out what the RAM should be to buy it from eBay, so I bought it from somewhere else. But I did find it. Retro Techie, you're funny. I don't think an RTX 3090 will fit. Yeah, I could emulate 100 of these on a 3090. You're right, Joe.